Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Lazy Hypnotherapist. I am your host, Lily. As always, I am a certified hypnotherapist and a trainer of conversational hypnosis. If you are joining me on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. I am coming to you today from my bedroom at my parents' house because I've come up to visit them. So I've just snuck away into my room to record this episode because I haven't jumped on the podcast in 2 weeks, I think. And the reason for that, honestly, is it's been chaotic over here. I'm actually planning my wedding at the moment. I'm getting married in 1 month from today. So, as you can imagine, there is a lot to plan, and I am not the best planner. I have left some things until last minute, some things, and it's just all like the really fine details that you never think about when you attend a wedding. Like, I've never thought about these things before, so I have a really really great appreciation for every single wedding I've ever been to now, because I'm like, wow, a lot goes into that. So it's been a bit chaotic over here. But also, on top of that, I've actually been creating a course that is launching really, really soon. And it's partly what I want to speak about today because I've created a course for binge eating. So I want to speak about binge eating today, and I'll go into a little bit about how the course might be able to help you if you are struggling, of course, or if you know anyone that is struggling. So with the course, it's called Food Freedom Now, and I called it that because what I find with my clients that struggle with binge eating is it really does feel like you're constrained by this thing, and that it is something that is stopping you from feeling freedom within yourself, your life, and freedom around food to make decisions freely, to live and exist freely without I guess feeling imprisoned by thoughts and behaviors around food. And I have noticed that a lot of my clients say after we work together that they just feel free. So that's really what I want for people that are struggling with binge eating, is this sense of freedom. So the reason that I'm creating or have created a course for binge eating is I really quickly discovered in my business that binge eating is really, really, really common. It's the most common eating disorder in Australia, and it is the main thing that I work with just because it makes sense that it is, because it's so common. When I started my business, because my history of an eating disorder as a teenager was with anorexia, I thought that's what I would be more working with. But it just so happened that I began working with a lot of clients that were struggling with binge eating, and I I began to love it. It and I think it is because we can get such great results with it. I find that there's so many misconceptions around binge eating and what it is, and stigma and everything, which is what I want to go into. And I really found that once we were able to kind of unpack and understand and reframe what binge eating actually is, and bring some really thorough, deep understanding, we were able to make great change really, really quickly. So I love working with it because the results are just so good. And yeah, I love seeing my clients thriving, but it also, of course, feels really good for me that I can help them in that way. So binge eating, I think it has been able to become the most common eating disorder because it's not spoken about. And I don't know why. There is well, I do and I don't. There's so much stigma and stereotypes around binge eating that I think have just stopped people feeling open to talk about it. And there is a lot of guilt and a lot of shame when it comes to binge eating. So I think that has over time inhibited people from speaking about it, which allows it to just kind of continue the cycle of binge eating, just kind of uh, perpetuates, and it goes maybe unnoticed for a really long time. And I think people think that struggle with it, this isn't serious enough, or this is just a lack of willpower or restraint or discipline, so therefore it's not something that I deserve to speak out about or deserve to reach out for help for. And it really, really saddens me that it seems that that's sort of been the approach to binge eating for so long. And I guess what I just begin to found that was really strange was that I would work with so many clients that were struggling with binge eating, yet all of them, every single one, would tell me that they felt so alone. And I'm sitting there going, but you're not alone. You are so not alone. No one is just speaking about it. And I think when we feel alone, that puts extra shame, and that just enhances the cycle. And it just really is this kind of toxic cycle of it. So I wanted to create something that not only helped but spoke about it and began to reframe for people what it actually is. Because when you're struggling with something and you have one idea of what it is, so this idea of willpower, this idea of no discipline, this idea that it's, just something wrong with them, versus understanding really what's going on with binge eating, understanding that it is an eating disorder just as anything like anorexia or bulimia is, of course. It is just as serious, and it is just as consuming and awful to deal with. There's no eating disorder that is more worthy of help than any other, but I think in society we have sort of created that, like a hierarchy. And I find it so frustrating that we've somehow let the most common eating disorder be the one that we've spoken about the least, which is so silly to me. But when we are able to actually understand, okay, I'm going through binge eating, I'm struggling with binge eating, but actually, it, just like anything else, is a coping mechanism that I've developed through certain, environmental factors, conditioning, experiences, beliefs, whatever it is. But it's a coping mechanism that I've developed that is just as worthy to be dealt with as anyone struggling with anything else. And when we kind of change the approach and we reframe actually what it means to be struggling with binge eating and what binge eating actually is, then we can work from a place of truth. Then we can actually really begin to make change, because we're not doing it under this false idea that it's anything about willpower or discipline, because it's simply not. So with my course, Food Freedom Now, what I'm really doing is beginning to provide the reframe of what binge eating actually is and how it develops. But more importantly, what I'm doing is I'm having the people that sign up, I'm having them deeply understand their own subconscious mind and how they themselves have developed binge eating, and exactly what it has latched onto, why, what it's doing, for what purpose, what it is doing in their life. Because whilst we know, of course, there are some common themes with binge eating, comfort, distraction, avoidance, all these, themes that kind of flow through. But just like anything, we need to understand specifically what it is for us that has started the binge eating, reinforced it, kept it going. We need to understand ourselves really, really intimately on such a deep level that we know exactly what our subconscious mind is doing and why it truly believes that this binge eating is a good thing. Because we know, anybody who's listening to this and has listened to this podcast knows that no problem, concern that we struggle with ever starts as a problem. It starts as a solution to a problem. And it's the exact same with binge eating. In fact, binge eating is like the perfect example of this, that it never started to be a burden. It never started to be something that you hate about yourself. It never started to do anything menacing or bad. It started to help you. It started as a benefit. It started as something that could really, really help you to ... right? We need to figure out what it is for you exactly that is going on there. And through my course, I guide you to do that. I guide you exactly how to do that. And when we're able to understand that, as I said, we're able to make change. And just sometimes through understanding ourselves and understanding every little bit of it, we can make change. But even further from there we begin to rewire our beliefs about ourselves, our beliefs about what we need in order to protect us and to feel safe, what we need in order to thrive, and really just beginning to rewire these feelings within us about food, about binging, and whether or not we need it to protect us anymore. So we just begin to really change the pathways that are associated with binging, so it no longer feels like something that our subconscious mind wants to take us towards, if that makes sense. So yeah, I've created the course to really guide the people that sign up to understand what binge eating is. Further from that, understand exactly what it is to them, every bit of what's going on in their own subconscious mind. And then the third step is actually rewiring this and actually making the change so that this is no longer something that you struggle with. It's a combination of video modules, journaling, the exact questions that I ask my clients, I'm asking within this course. I guide you through it, and then there is hypnosis recordings as well to embed these new reframes. So I really, really do believe that it can really help people. So I'm super, super excited to launch it, and for you all to, if you are struggling, if you know someone that's struggling, to experience it and to experience the benefits of it. It's self-paced. It's something that you can do in your own time. It's something that you can always come back to. It is also just such a great way for us to start this conversation about binge eating, to get it out there, to get it into the world, and to ultimately break this shame and guilt cycle, so that, my goal would be that one day there is no shame and there is no guilt ever around binge eating, that we understand it for what it is, which is a coping mechanism. We don't shame anyone else. We don't, put guilt on anyone else for any other eating disorder. But for some reason with binge eating, we do, and it is just infuriating. So yeah, I would really, really love to see that change, and for people to feel like they can talk about it, and that it's not something that is wrong with them. It's simply a coping skill that they've developed, and we all do. We all develop different coping skills over time. Some are helpful, some are not. And any eating disorder is a coping mechanism that we have developed, an incredibly unhelpful one. And we just need to understand why we developed it, what need it's meeting, and how to rewire that so that that's not the thing that's meeting the need anymore. So yeah, I'm really, really, really excited about it. I really am. It's it's I always find that when you do something that you're really passionate about, you just feel so much more like in flow and excited about it. And I feel really, really excited about this because I really think that it can help people. And yeah, I'm also going to be doing, providing a bit of a community behind it as well, where it can be kind of like a support group, where other people that are struggling can talk and help each other and lift each other up and support and really break down this idea of that this should be anything that we shouldn't speak about. So yeah, I'm really, really, really excited about it. I think it's going to be so good. It will be launching in the next couple of weeks. So I will pop in an episode here when it's done, just so that I can let you all know. But yeah, I'm really excited. Watch on my socials for when it's dropping. And yeah, if you are struggling with binge eating and you are feeling quite if you're feeling quite motivated to make change, send me a message as well, and I can even send you an early screening of it, because I'm more than happy to do that before it launches, because I want people to get this in their hands as soon as possible. So if you are really keen to start, just send me a message and we can organize that easily, because yeah, the sooner the better, right? The sooner the better. I'm just waiting on some marketing stuff to get sorted, but it is ready to go. So if you are keen, just send me a message and I can send it to you. But yeah. Please reach out if this is resonating with you, if this is something that you're interested in. If you have questions, if you have anything, just send me a message. And yeah, I cannot wait to launch it. I really, really cannot wait to launch it. And yeah, get it out into the world and for people to start talking about this a bit more, because it's something that we should be talking about and should always have been talking about, and it's a shame that we haven't. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. I am super, super, super grateful. I will be in your ears probably next week with some more. Let me think. Actually, not sure what next week's episode is going to be about. DM me and let me know what you want me to speak about, and anything that you're interested in or any questions that you have. I would love to hear from you. Okay, I'll see you next week, everyone. Bye.